Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Calm is not mercy. It is a blade with the edge turned inward. You hold it steady and let the noise cut itself. When others surge with heat, you stay cold enough to see the wires. You are not passive. You are a thermostat. You lower the room 1 degree at a time until people choose silence, then logic, then movement in your direction. Ice over fire. Stillness is not surrender, it is a net. You let the opponent spend breath while you gather data, their tells, their deadlines, their fear of being ignored. The angry email reveals what they cannot afford to lose. The rant in the meeting exposes who needs an audience more than an outcome. On a sales call, you let the buyer speak first and note every concession they volunteer without prompting. In a social media storm, you wait 12 hours, collect contradictions, and publish a single cool summary with next steps. In each case, your quiet makes them louder, your pause makes them careless, your focus makes them visible. Then you answer with one line that drains the theater. Here is the decision, here is the deadline, here is the owner. No insult, no counter-rant. The show collapses because it has no air left to burn. Design before dialogue. Outcomes are decided in the pre-work the crowd never sees. You send an agenda the night before, and people arrive walking your rails. You open with the scoreboard, what will be measured, by when, and by whom, so feelings have a frame to sit inside. You set the order of speaking, evidence first, opinions second, decisions last. You define time boxes and end with a written recap that freezes the facts before emotions can rewrite them. In a family dispute, you say, "Tonight is logistics, who does what by when," and you ban history for 24 hours. In a group chat, you label threads, require one decision per post, and archive anything that turns into performance. In a classroom, you post rubrics on day 1. Grades later become a reading of the rubric, not a referendum on your mood. Calm is not born at the table. It is engineered the night before with clocks, lanes, and scoreboards. Deterrence without drama. To be taken seriously, you do not need rage. You need certainty. People obey rules they can predict. So you craft small, automatic penalties that arrive without speeches. A missed deadline reduces scope next sprint. Late payment moves a client behind 2 others. A partner who breaks protocol loses a privilege for a cycle. No blame, no heat, just the price paid, the next review date, and a polite smile. Equally, you reward the behavior you want with speed, access, and credit. Ship on time, get first look next month. Document clearly, get faster approvals. In a startup, you write service levels and consequence ladders into the operating manual, so enforcement is a calendar event, not an argument. In freelance work, deposits and change orders make chaos expensive. In dating, boundaries are time and place rules kept calmly, applied consistently, so respect is the cheapest option available. This is the psychology of ruthless calm, kind in tone, violent in structure. You hold 2 or 3 options for every need, so desperation never leaks from you. You answer when ready, not when provoked. You do not explain your feelings. You explain your terms. You replace revenge with records, outrage with order, hope with systems. When chaos knocks, you let it speak to your calendar, your checklist, and your rules. If someone insists on heat, you give them room to overplay while you count. The investor who pushes false urgency meets your other 2 runway routes. The vendor who tries to raise the price at the last second meets the clause you wrote and the backup you sourced a month ago. They learn you are warm to work with and impossible to corner. You do not win by crushing noise. You win by making noise unprofitable. Calm is not a mood you wait for. It is a design you build, hour by hour, until the room makes sense and the outcome is inevitable. Be warm in voice, cold in design. Kindness that never closes the gate invites wolves to learn your doorway. You were taught that transparency, niceness, and constant availability create respect. You were told that openness proves you have nothing to hide, that sweetness dissolves conflict, and that being always on keeps people close. In real arenas, respect follows predictable systems, gates, terms, and consequences more than feelings. People align with architecture. They drift with sentiment. First, the transparency trap. Broadcasting needs and timelines does not purify the room, it hands leverage to it. When you declare exactly what you want, exactly when you need it, and exactly what you fear, you do not create safety, you provide a playbook. You think you are building trust. You are revealing your price. Picture a vendor call. You confess that if the shipment misses Friday, a campaign dies. Prices rise on Wednesday, expedite fees appear on Thursday, and your polite urgency becomes their margin. In a salary negotiation, you explain that you must hit a number to cover family costs. They nod, praise your openness, and offer a figure 5% below your floor, expecting gratitude to do the rest. In dating, you tell someone that delayed replies make you spiral, response times slow, just enough to keep you close. Discretion is not deceit, it is ethical self-protection. Leaders sequence disclosure. You share mission and standards, not panic and pressure points. You tell the vendor, ship by Friday. After that, the order rolls to next quarter. You tell the employer, here is the value I own and the range that matches it. You tell the date, reliability commands my attention. You are still honest, but your honesty arrives as policy, not plea. The less you expose, the less you can be priced. Second, affection versus advantage. People comply, where incentives are clear and the cost of deviation is real. They love what lowers their risk and raises their status. Your warmth is pleasant, your structure is persuasive. In a startup, a founder tries to buy execution with charm. Pizza nights, inspirational speeches, infinite flexibility. Deadlines float, credit blurs, and the loudest person hijacks scope. Then the founder installs a scoreboard. Weekly ship targets, review at noon, Friday, publish who did what. Suddenly the culture matures. Nothing mystical happened. The optics changed. Reliability now earns public status. Drift is publicly visible. Compliance follows the scoreboard, not the pep talk. A freelancer hopes generosity will keep clients honest. She answers messages at midnight, absorbs scope creep, and trusts that kindness will be repaid. It is repaid with more requests. When she adds a rate card, a change order form, and late fees that trigger automatically, something new appears. Respect. Good clients plan, poor clients fade, revenue steadies. Structure sorted character without a fight. In dating, affection without architecture invites negotiation, delay, and quiet defiance. Be available no matter what, and you become a hallway. Pair intimacy with standards response windows, planning rhythms, consequences for flaking, and the exchange clarifies. The serious show up, the seriousness self-select out. This is not manipulation, it is filtration. You are not punishing anyone, you are protecting the shared space from entropy. Third, calm is not equal to permission. Many confuse being chill with being boundaryless. Calm leadership is not the absence of rules. It is warmth seated on law. Wind without walls is a storm. Water without banks is a flood. In teams, no drama leaders often sabotage themselves by absorbing chaos quietly. They extend every deadline, tolerate every excuse, and frame every failure as learning. The atmosphere is gentle, the output is smoke. Calm turns powerful when it is paired with rails, written norms, time boxes, and escalation ladders that everyone can see. The rule becomes the bad cop, so you can remain human. Write norms before momentum begins. Define who decides, which metrics govern, and what timelines count. Publish the agenda and the finish line. We choose A or B today. New issues roll to Thursday. Time box meetings and decisions. Scarcity of minutes focuses attention better than speeches do. Build consequence into the calendar. Miss the gate, pay the fee, change the scope, sign the form, break the promise. Escalate one level by rule, not emotion. No lectures, no anger. Just a system that treats everyone the same. Calm also means controlled access. Limit seats in a program. Limit hours for counsel. Limit how often emergencies can skip the queue. The limits are not punishment. They are the reason you can be generous inside them. When the door is real, the welcome is real. When the door is imaginary, predators practice on your threshold. Make the environment carry the weight. Replace please with procedures. Replace reminders with dashboards. Replace personal pleading with public standards. Publish credit criteria before work starts so envy cannot edit history. Tie rewards to the outcomes you actually need, not to noise. People call this rigid until the first storm. Afterwards, they call it safe. None of this asks you to become hard or suspicious. It asks you to become legible and costly to mistreat. Keep your kindness, keep your openness, but sequence them after you build the house. You reveal your heart in rooms with locks, not in streets full of hands. Here is the pattern that never lies. Respect flows to the few who control gates, terms, and consequences. Even your best friends, your kindest clients, your most loving partners behave better inside known rules. Design makes morality easier to keep. When the cheapest path is the right one, the city becomes orderly without cruelty. Stop giving away your map. Stop paying others to set your price. Write the rules, lock the windows, and then light the fire. Let your warmth be a privilege, not a public utility. People will still feel your goodness more so, because the house that contains it will not collapse at the first knock. Soft voice, steel doors. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you are. You want the deal, the answer, the embrace. You want the future to stop wobbling, but the room smells before you speak. Neediness sells the kingdom cheap because it shows every visitor where the gates are thin. Validation, speed, certainty. When these sit unhealed beneath your choices, smart players don't fight you, they guide you. Ruthless calm begins when you seal the leaks and force the game to run on your terms. Start with a leak map, forensic and cold. Instant replies. When your phone vibrates and your fingers fire, you announce that delay is pain for you. The train will tug the clock until your price drops. Apology, inflation. You place messages with sorry, just, quick ask, and hope this isn't a bother. That is a tribute paid in advance. It turns a fair request into a confession, and confessions bargain against themselves. Over-explaining. You drown a clear point in paragraphs to preempt criticism. You teach the room that pressure will make you justify and fold. Price insensitivity. You pay rush fees no one demands. You buy premium to calm nerves. You accept inflated terms just to stop uncertainty. Markets smell this thirst and raise the toll. Audit the smaller tells. Do you flip statements into questions with an upward lilt? Do you laugh to fill the silence? Do you accept calendar invites before checking capacity? Do your emails land at midnight to signal devotion? Do you say no worries where boundaries belong? Do you agree to quick calls that become unpaid consulting? Write them down. Timing, tone, concessions, purchases. Each item is a door in your wall. Close one door a week and the city gets harder to sack. Now watch how exploitation works. A buyer offers a little praise. Your deck is the best we've seen. then asks for a small favor on price. You trade margin for that glow and teach them where the lever sits. A date love bombs day one, then goes cool unless you escalate. You chase to get back to the high, and your calendar becomes their property. A manager spotlights you publicly, then slides extra tasks at 5. You donate nights because applause feels like safety. In each scene, nobody needs a threat. Your micro-behavior do the threat for them. Push here, I'll move. Install the inner frame before any outer theater. First, response delays. Carry one neutral sentence everywhere. Thanks for the note. Let me review and reply by time. Use it for money, favor, romance, and conflict. Delay is not rudeness. It is anesthesia for the chemical spike, the return of judgment to the throne. 10 slow breaths after stating your number prevents the discount you were about to volunteer. An overnight pause turns urgency into data. If an offer dies because you refuse to hurry, let it die. What can't survive, time survives on your fear. Second, option sets. Do not stand on one leg. Binary choices push you into yes, no panic. Offer 3 structured paths that respect price, scope, and time. Premium fast by Wednesday at the rush rate. Standard delivery Friday at the regular rate. Extended timeline next week with added value. Fields beat fists. When you define the field, honest partners select what they value. Manipulators reveal themselves by demanding a 4th option, everything, now, for less. Third, pre-commit rules. Decide in calm daylight what your hungry self must obey in heat. Never decide under flattery. Praise suspends caution. Write the ask down, answer tomorrow. Never negotiate under urgency. Clocks bend spines. No discounts without scope change. No signatures on calls. No late-night commitments. No second meetings without an agenda. Rules make you boringly consistent, and consistency reads as authority. Manipulation needs improvisation. Procedure starves it. Drill the frame in ordinary scenes. After you, quote, count 10 seconds of silence and let the buyer move first. When a late-night ping arrives, reply at 9 a.m. with 2 windows that fit your calendar. When a stakeholder asks for one tiny change, ask which current priority they prefer to drop. When a platform shouts, last chance, wait 24 hours. If the desire survives sleep, it is real. If not, you just bought back dignity. Then convert thirst to standards. Chasing is what installs the handle on your back. Standards replace the handle with gravity. Build entry criteria that live on paper and in public. Budget minimums, clear scope, decision maker present, deposit before work. Enforce them quietly. Require proof of work, portfolios, references, a test project, a trial month. Trust what people have built, not what they promise at volume. Use trial periods to measure behavior under time, not just charm under light. Standards turn posture into policy. They let you say no kindly and yes with a spine. Turn it into a policy you can live with. Sales. I take on 2 major projects per quarter. The next start is January. Dating. 2 evenings a week is my social capacity. Consistency beats intensity. Meetings. No agenda. No call. Money. Price moves only when scope moves. Time. Anything that spikes my nervous system gets a 2-hour delay. These lines are not attitudes, they are rails. Put them in proposals, bios, calendar notes, and keep them in your mouth. Measure so you cannot lie to yourself. Track average reply time on non-urgent messages. Track discounts granted with and without scope reduction. Track how often you enforced a rule versus made an exception. Review weekly. The numbers are unromantic. That is why they keep you safe. When you break a rule, don't perform guilt, perform repair. Identify the trigger, add a guardrail, write a script, rehearse it, and move. Expect noise. People who feasted on your leaks will call your pause cold, your options complicated, your criteria arrogant. Smile. That is dependency, losing its supplier. Do not debate. Repeat the line. Offer the options. Point to the threshold. If they threaten to walk, open the gate. Scarcity built on standards draws the serious closer and sends the seriousness far away. Over time, calm becomes your climate. You will still want validation, speed, certainty, but want becomes preference, not price. You move slower inside and cleaner outside. Partners relax because your yes and no mean exactly what they sound like. Predators peel away because fog no longer hides their methods. The kingdom stops bargaining to be liked and starts selecting for alignment. Value compounds not by shouting harder, but by letting rules carry your voice when nerves would sell it off. You don't need to be cruel, you need to be clear. Plug the leaks, install the frame, and let standards rule where thirst once reigned. Then your presence stops begging to be chosen and starts choosing. Seal the leaks, crown the standards, calm breaks, and the room begins to spend you. A trigger lands a sly remark in a crowded chat, a contract tweaked after midnight, a public slight delivered with a smile. Heat floods your face, your thumbs sprint past your judgment. You post, you clap back, you turn private irritation into public theater. For a heartbeat, applause hits like oxygen. Then the air thins. What feels like justice becomes a breadcrumb trail for scavengers. Screens move on. You remain louder, exposed, and suddenly cheap. The spiral has started, and it multiplies interest every second you perform. Trigger becomes rant. Rant becomes isolation. The same spectators who cheered your realness step backward to avoid the splash. Allies delay replies because your fire eats their calendar. Neutrals who could have tipped your way now file you under weather. The other side waits, patient, quiet, and spreadsheet calm. You try to reclaim face with speed, impulsive discounts, promises you cannot keep, make goods that weren't in scope. They flatter your passion while tightening clauses. You sign, trembling with relief, and wake to worse terms and a smaller horizon. Then the remorse. Not the kind that reforms, the kind that gnaws. You post a clarification that invites a second thread, then a third. You jump on a call to reset energy and end up explaining your feelings to people pricing your time. You schedule another meeting to fix the last meeting, while deadlines decay in the background like fruit in heat. Spectacle replaces strategy, and spectacle demands sequels. The crowd stops listening for truth and starts expecting episodes. You are no longer a principal, you are programming. Understand what volatility buys your rivals. Predictable heat is a discount code. Delay a day and you overcompensate with free extras. Leak a rumor and you spend your reputation explaining, not executing. Push a small insult and you go grand, giving them screenshots and quotes to frame you. They don't need to out-argue you. They only need to budget for your tantrum. In markets that run on timelines and confidence, your mood becomes supply they can harvest. When others can script your reactions, they can purchase your future wholesale. Now the audience maths the pricing model behind respect. People don't audit your soul, they benchmark your pattern. Teams, clients, and partners carry silent calculators. If your behavior suggests storms, they add buffers, more check-ins, tighter clauses, lower trust limits, smaller advances. If your behavior suggests climate-predictable seasons, visible standards, they invest freely because planning gets easier. A manager who stays measured under provocation unlocks scarier budgets. A freelancer who never rants becomes the emergency contact at 11 p.m. A founder who absorbs small slights without performing them online communicates board-ready control. Steadiness compounds trust because it lowers everyone's anxiety bill. Watch how quickly optics move money. A late delivery plus a composed plan to cure time, test, fallback raises your stock. The same late delivery plus a public spiral devalues you, even if you eventually fix it. Investors don't chase genius, they must babysit. Partners avoid talent that needs emotional hazard pay. Clients prefer boringly excellent to brilliant and combustible. Your name becomes a probability, not a vibe. The probability that you'll ship under pressure is what they fund. The probability that you'll erupt is what they price down. You need a break you can pull while your blood is hot. 72 hours of containment. Not to fake indifference, but to stop bleeding leverage. Step 1. The silence window. Inform your tight circle 2 or 3 maximum. No public responses for 72 hours. All external contact routes to a single inbox. Archive drafts. Mute bait. Replace improvisation with one line. Received. Reviewing. Update by date, time. Silence starves spectacle. It also resets your breathing without letting the narrative rent your voice. Step 2. The fact ledger. Open a dated document and write only what can be verified now without adjectives. Who promised what? By when? In which clause? What shipped? What failed? Who acknowledged? Amounts, dates, channels. Create 3 columns. Confirmed, disputed, unknown. The ledger gives your nervous system low bar. It separates story from stance. It becomes transportable credibility at the only tables that matter: ops, legal, finance. A clean ledger persuades more quietly and more widely than any sermon about fairness. Step 3. Counsel from a cold mind. Book an hour with someone whose upside is your clarity, not your catharsis. A lawyer, elder operator, strategist with no social stake. Present the ledger, not your anger. Ask only 3 questions. What is my strongest position? What is the narrowest viable remedy? What is the highest value move within 7 days? Cold minds carve away theater. They convert adrenaline into sequence. Notice, cure, period, fallback supplier, payment hold, or dignified exit with receipts. They protect you from over-aiming a cannon at a door that requires a key. Step 4. The dated decision with small, certain follow-through. Before the window closes, write the exact move and the moment you will execute it. Friday, 4 p.m. Not soon. Either a surgical action or strategic neglect. Surgical action sounds like per section 4. B. Deliver X by Monday, 3 p.m. to folder Y. Failing that, we proceed with backup per section 5. Neglect sounds like nothing, no statement, just 3 visible wins shipped on schedule. Small, certain moves rebuild your internal government. Big theatrical moves rebuild your enemies. While the protocol runs, you keep working on assets the conflict cannot touch: code, content, outreach, training. Output under pressure is signal. It tells allies you won't mortgage their month for your moment. It tells buyers your cadence is real. It tells rivals their bait is expensive. Your future reputation is not what you announce when angry. It is what you deliver when tempted to announce. When you re-enter the room, you return as a clock, not a siren. Short lines, dates, folders, consequences you can calmly collect. Final assets by Thursday, 3 p.m. If not received, order transitions at 4. Your delivery window remains unchanged. No moral paragraphs, no adjective warfare. Documentation delivers the blow. The room recalibrates. People who were entertained by your outburst now remember why they hired you. You move value on time. Your mask is not fake. It is a uniform for weather. Understand that leverage you just reclaimed. Before, they spent an emoji and bought your week. They drafted a vague email and owned your face. Now, their cheapest provocations die against form. Your reactions are scheduled. Your tone is standard. Your boundaries convert to invoices, not monologues. The price of touching your time rises. The return on bait falls. Allies grow bolder beside a steady hand. Rivals learn that silence is your shield and paperwork is your sword. You will still feel the pulse. You will still want the stage. But you will choose audience maths over audience applause. You will measure the cost of being right in public against the value of being effective in private. You will trade heat for gravity. And when calm holds, deals move. When calm holds, respect compounds. When calm holds, your future stops selling itself at a discount. Hold the line, then move the line. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. You replay the insult like a broken tape. But what stung as betrayal was a spreadsheet in disguise, leverage, optics, and maths. They priced you, quickly, with the data you gave away. Respect did not vanish. It was never purchased. Calm returns when you stop taking offense and start redesigning the board. From story to structure, they don't value me translates into gaps you can close. First, unclear stakes. If nothing meaningful changes after a miss, people will keep missing. State prices in advance fees, lost slots, slower responses, smaller scopes. When the cost of delay is real, delay declines. Second, no penalties. Standards without teeth are stage props. Make penalties automatic and quiet. Like gravity, access throttled after 2 late deliveries, privileges paused after 1 breach, promotion gates linked to verified results. Third, too much access. Abundance breeds carelessness. Ration your calendar, limit unearned proximity, and cap favors so your time regains weight. Build a simple dashboard so your feelings stop guessing. 3 dials: access, delivery, consequence. Access: how close, how fast, how often they reach you. Delivery: artifacts, not adjectives, finished drafts, shipped features, fulfilled orders, honest callbacks. Consequence: what changes when standards slip, throttle, pause, or price increase. If delivery falls, access narrows. If access is abused, consequence rises. The dials move by policy, not mood. Your dignity becomes predictable, and predictability is leverage. Optics as insurance. People insure themselves against risk with how they see you. Punctuality lowers perceived risk. Concise notes lower ambiguity. An even face lowers volatility. Each signal tightens your rates. Be the person whose calendar lands at 5 minutes early, not 5 minutes late. Send notes that fit on one screen. Action, owner, deadline, next check. Keep your voice slow, your posture still. A calm body turns storms into weather reports. Modern terms are simple. In work, publish a weekly one-pager. Shipped, queued, blocked, no fluff. Include timestamps and links to proof. In sales, send proposals with clear scope, staged payments, and exit clauses. You look safer, so buyers pay cleaner. In dating and friendship, show small, reliable rituals. Replies within your window, plans confirmed the night before, exits handled with courtesy. Optics aren't vanity, they are underwriting. Lower risk, better terms. Control the frame so optics can compound. Announce standards before you need them. I reply from 10:12 and 4:5. Meetings require an agenda. Scope changes adjust price. Repetition makes them true. Publish cadence and stick to it. Monday metrics, Wednesday demos, Friday summaries. The more your environment runs on clocks and checklists, the less anyone's mood can set your price. Credible indifference protects your breath. Options are oxygen. When you have multiple routes, other people's leverage shrinks. Cultivate parallel channels. 2. Anchor clients instead of 1. A second platform for distribution. A third skill that can bill when the first goes quiet. Diversify, support, mentor for strategy, peer for sanity, junior for momentum. No single person becomes your air supply. Make commitments reversible until patterns prove themselves. Pilot before retainers, month to month before annual, coffee before weekend, public before private. Write exit ramps into the agreement so truth shows up early. If someone resists small tests, they will punish big trust. Let the cheap exit be available, then watch who keeps earning the next gate. Buffers tame panic. Time buffers. No fast, yes. Sleep on decisions that move money, reputation, or body. Money buffers. An emergency fund, so you don't rent your character for cash flow. Energy buffers. White space on your calendar that cannot be bought. With buffers, you walk away without anger because you can afford to breathe. Design makes loyalty cheaper than betrayal. Reward contribution with things that compound skills, status that tracks merit, access that expands with consistency, price betrayal with friction lost priority, public requalification, slower pathways back. Keep doors unlocked for the sincere, but heavy for the seriousness. You are not punishing, you are pricing the field. Return to the board and reprice yourself. What is scarce, protect it. If your attention is the scarcity, wall it with schedules. If your brand is scarce, guard it with standards. If your information is scarce, release it by layers, not floods. Who sets terms? If not you, renegotiate or exit. Who bears risk? Split it or shrink it. The map will show you where to place gates, mirrors, and levers. Stop moralizing the maths. Your value was not dismissed by destiny. It was discounted by design. Write a new design. Tighter entry, clearer stakes, automatic penalties, visible proof, punctuality, concise notes, even face. Multiple routes, reversible doors, buffers you defend. The same. People who once disrespected, you will either adapt to the prices or wander off to cheaper markets. Either outcome is a win. You do not need rage to have edges. You need structures that speak while you stay calm. Make your eyes scarce, your no simple, your standards automatic. Keep receipts, post artifacts. Let your cadence be the rumor, and your results be the proof. Shame dissolves when the machine starts to hum. You aren't the victim of optics, you are the operator of them. Design the board, and the price of you rises. You do not calm the storm, you design the canal that carries it away. Ruthless calm is not the absence of feeling, it is the mastery of sequence. First the frame, then scarcity, then incentive, then mask, then penalty. Each part mild, altogether inevitable. You do not threaten, you lay rails. People step onto them because the ground around is fog and mud. Frame reality early. Set the agenda first. Choose metrics before egos wake. Name roles while the room is still friendly, and date decisions while the air is cool. Then send a written summary within the hour so the ink dries before memory edits. Paper is the quiet tyrant. It freezes what was agreed when everyone was sane. Later, when the heat rises, you point to the page and keep your voice low. The frame holds, the mood passes. Keep the frame compact. One page, purpose, owner, constraints, dates, exit criteria, you can test. At work, that sounds like ship feature X by the 28th. Success equals crash-free sessions above 99.5%, owner Malik. In romance, it is cadence agreed early, autonomy preserved by design, and expectations put in plain words while attraction still has manners. With friends, it is simple. Plans lock by Wednesday. No carries no penalties. Clarity up front saves blood later. Scarcity focuses attention. Stop begging for urgency and start rationing your gates. Slots are limited, time windows open and close, and access tiers are earned by proof, not by Charm. Publish capacity like a timetable so adults can plan. 3 production slots this cycle. 2 delivery. 1 review. When a vendor says anytime Friday, answer 10:30 to 11. When a collaborator asks for your Saturday, offer a morning block next week. When a date wants 7 nights in a row, keep the cadence warm and lean until consistency pays for more. Be precise in how scarcity moves. Decision windows close on schedule. Even if no decision is made, the decision then becomes not now. Privileges escalate only after audit, past reliability, documented delivery, and clean handoffs. Your calendar, files, and cache are fortifications. Keys rotate, logs record, gates swing on hinges you control. People adapt to clarity. Those who cannot adapt drift toward looser harbors. Let them go. Incentive makes the right path, the easy path. Design small, immediate rewards tied to exact behaviors. Use scoreboards that show movement at a glance: green for on time, amber for at risk, red for blocked with the owner named. Pay milestones within 24 hours of accepted work. Give public credit in places that travel: release notes, stand-ups, client emails. Deliver warm introductions within a week to partners who keep the standard. You are not bribing, you are tilting the floor. Behavior, proof, reward, tight loop, fast learning. Keep incentives surgical. Pay for clean pull requests, not heroic recoveries from self-made fires. Praise documented decisions, not charismatic freestyling that leaves no trail. In personal life, reward steadiness with proximity. Coffee after kindness, plans after patience. Deeper access after a month of consistency. The nervous system learns the maths. Show proof, receive gain. Over time, people walk the groove you carved because it is smooth and well lit. Wear the mask that settles rooms. Appear punctual, even-tempered, unreadable in aim. Offer warmth in tone and secrecy in plan. Speak about process more than destination. This is how we schedule. This is how we decide. This is how we escalate. Your mask is uniform, not deceit. It protects you from those who fish in moods and calms allies who only need to know the road is paved. Be generous with courtesy and stingy with confession. Give access like gold slowly, in measured cups. Your reputation hardens around this mask. People learn that your conduct is predictable while your intentions are private. They relax because they can forecast your behavior. Rivals struggle because they cannot forecast your strategy. Nothing in your voice begs approval. Nothing in your face leaks urgency. The stable surface reduces probing because drama has nothing to grip. Penalties make the system honest. Keep them small, certain, and impersonal. Reduce scope, delay access, rotate privileges. No speeches, no heat, just consequences that land like the clock. Miss 2 stand-ups, sprint priority drops and updates shift to weekly. Arrive late twice, your slot moves to end of day. Leak private details, access narrows to need to know for 90 days. You are not punishing a soul, you are pricing a behavior. When disobedience becomes boring and expensive, people prefer order. House penalties in the rule book, not in your mood. Put them in checklists, service levels, and meeting charters that live where work lives. Doors close at 5 past, late arrivals listen only. Reply within 24 business hours, escalate at 48. Handoffs require files in the shared drive, linked in the ticket, tagged to the owner. When enforcement arrives, reference the page. Point, apply, move on. Boredom, not volume, does the teaching. Thread the instruments and inner steadiness becomes outer control. The frame defines reality, so emotions dock to something solid. Scarcity focuses attention, so effort compresses where it matters. Incentive makes good behavior feel like gravity. The mask lowers risk perception while protecting your cravat. Aim. Penalty keeps all of it honest without a shout. Each instrument is a finger. Together they are a fist you never have to show. Maintain the engine with a self-discipline loop. Once a month, audit for leaks. Read your texts, emails and notes as if you were a rival. Where did you broadcast urgency? Where did you negotiate against yourself? Replace hungry lines, "I really need this," with steady ones. Delivery by Friday preserves the standard. Rename files and calendar events to remove gossip bait. Neutral names deny scavengers the breadcrumbs they love. Write pre-commit scripts to save you from your shadow. When baited, say, "Let's put that in the document." When rushed, say, "We decide on Tuesdays." When love-bombed, say, "Let's let this breathe for a week." These lines are not slogans. They are governors on your emotional engine. They buy the seconds that let judgment return. They keep you from paying with secrets when you were only asked for structure. Feed calm like a resource. Guard one solitude block each week. No inputs, no outputs, just review and reset. Rewrite frames for the next month. Count available slots, tune rewards, polish the mask, and refresh the penalty table against the frictions you faced. This is stewardship of your city-state. You defend the gates so trade can flourish inside. Modern life rewards loudness and punishes boundaries. You will reverse it. Your rooms will be quiet because your rules are public. Your pace will be sane because your scarcity is real. Your partners will pre-comply because your incentives are near and fair. Your rivals will hesitate because your mask gives no angles. And when someone tests the perimeter, the penalty lands like rain on stone, ordinary, cold, forgettable, effective. You do not need to conquer people. You need to govern conditions, frame, scarcity, incentive, mask, penalty, quiet applications, repeated. Underneath all of it, a steady operator who refuses to donate emotion where a form would do. Calm is the strongest wall. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You build peace the way an engineer builds a bridge, calculation first, emotions last. Quiet rooms, quick decisions, long memories. The system carries the weight so your voice can stay low. Cooperation becomes safe because the rails are clear. Dignity survives because surprises are rare. Execution speeds up because no one is guessing what you will tolerate. A day in order begins before the world starts shouting. You set frames, not moods. Mornings are for building, midday for decisions, late afternoon for review and closure. Scarce slots make time valuable, so you publish windows and protect them. A partner asks for 5 minutes. You send a 15-minute slot with a prepared checklist. If they show up ready, they earn speed. If they don't, the slot rolls 2 weeks forward. No drama. Automated incentives speak for you. Ship on time and receive early payment. Miss twice and priority drops next cycle. No speeches, just gravity. Your mask stays steady. You say thank you for the update. Then you trigger the protocol. Gentle penalties teach faster than heat. Late arrivals speak last. Changes after the cutoff move to the next sprint. Pings outside core hours wait unless a posted emergency condition is met. You don't chase, you calibrate. The room warms like light after a storm because boundaries stop being threats and start being furniture. Discipline becomes emotionally attractive precisely because it removes guessing. Quick wins grease the rails. You close loops daily. Decisions documented. Files labeled cleanly. Owners and deadlines explicit. When a teammate meets the mark, a small automatic reward lands tied to the metric, not your mood. When a client pushes scope, you slide a template's change order across the table and let the numbers talk. Your calendar is a walled city with open gates. Inside, commerce flows. Outside, the weather can howl without interrupting order. Trust grows through predictability. You practice consistent fair dealing and pair it with certain costs. The sheet is public, response times, definition of done, service levels, payment windows, and the few red lines that end a deal. Because you keep these even when bending would be convenient, your no becomes a safety signal and your yes becomes gold. Strong allies gather because strong players hate roulette. A designer joins because your versioning is real. A vendor stays because early delivery earns credits toward larger orders. A friend respects your Saturday boundary because you kept it every Saturday, not just the easy ones. Deterrence becomes belonging when it is credible and fair. You do not humiliate, you document. You do not threaten, you price. Miss a deadline and the next cycle loses priority. Breach confidentiality and the contract closes with the fee schedule everyone read on day one. Make the rescue once, then fix the system so rescues are rare. Because consequences are certain and proportionate, the anxious relax, the capable shine, and the theatrical self-select out. The room is calm, not because no one ever fails, but because failure triggers learning, not theater. Your memory is long, and that keeps your future clean. Each quarter you review who kept promises, who recovered, who created fog. You reward recovery. You retire from chronic chaos without speeches. You keep doors soft on exit, so new doors open sooner. Reputation compounds. Decisions speed up because you have history, not hunches. Cooperation becomes the default because people can read the map. They know the price of delay, the reward for readiness, and the dignity of steady work done on time. So you make a simple oath. You will design the game, not argue inside it. You will publish frames, protect scarce slots, and let automated incentives do most of the lecturing. You will enforce gently and certainly, speak last and decide clearly. Keep your mask steady and your files clean. You will forgive without forgetting and exit without noise. When chaos knocks, you will answer with structure. When praise arrives, you will let it pass through and go back to work. Quiet rooms, quick decisions, long memory.